All right, so are you ready to like really get into some pop culture stuff?
Oh, yeah. Always.
Because today we're going like deep diving into all the stuff surrounding Ice Spice.
Oh, yeah. Ice Spice. Yeah.
All the online chatter, about how her appearance has changed, her style has changed.
Yeah.
And we're going to be sifting through the rumors and see what we can learn.
It's so fascinating to watch these discussions unfold.
Oh, totally.
Especially on platforms like YouTube,
Right.
where fans can really just dissect and debate like every little detail about a celebrity.
Yeah, for sure.
And the source for our deep dive today is a video called Ice Spice Speaks on Quitting Ozempic.
Oh, wow.
She went too far.
Just the title.
Right.
I know that's already like...
It grabs you.
Yeah.
It grabs you. So it jumps right in, to the speculation that Ice Spice was using Ozempic for weight loss.
Uh-huh.
And has quit since then and is now supposedly regaining her curves.
Yeah.
And this is all based on what fans are seeing and saying online, not any confirmed facts.
Huh.
Exactly. And it makes you think about how we, as a society, interpret these celebrity transformations.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The video highlights comments from fans pointing out that her head appeared disproportionately large after her weight loss.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's also a lot of talk about whether she might have felt some pressure from the industry,
Yeah. Wow.
to conform to a certain body image.
Yeah, that's rough, especially for, young female artists.
Yo.
And then you have fans weighing in with their opinions on her fashion choices.
Oh, yeah.
The video has comments like, finally she wears clothes for goodness sakes, which is kind of harsh.
Right.
While others are saying now she started to dress like Pink Pantheress, be yourself louder for Ice.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly people have some pretty strong reactions to her evolving style.
Yeah, and that actually leads into another big theme in the video accusations that Ice Spice is copying other artists.
Oh, really? Like who?
Well, the video claims she's been imitating Pink Pantheress' fashion. They even use her outfit at the Versace show as a specific example.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So they're calling that out specifically.
Yeah, and there are even mentions of her stylist allegedly calling her out for being a copycat.
Really?
Though the video doesn't really go into detail about what that means exactly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because, in hip-hop fashion, paying homage to the OGs, those who came before you.
Uh-huh.
It's been a tradition for a long time.
Right.
But that line between inspiration and straight-up imitation can get really blurry.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is where those Nicki Minaj comparisons come in.
Oh, yeah, with Nicki.
The video talks about Ice Spice's 40-inch wig aesthetic,
Uh-huh.
which is a total Nicki look.
Right.
And it just feeds into this whole narrative that Ice Spice is copying these other successful female rappers, which seems to be causing a lot of division among her fans.
So they're not sure what to think.
Yeah, one fan in the comments said, if Ice Spice wasn't such a copycat, nobody's going to say anything.
Wow.
Which suggests that some people think originality is the main thing that makes an artist authentic.
It's almost like there's this unspoken rule that you have to be totally unique to even be considered a legitimate artist.
Right.
Which is a crazy high bar.
Yeah.
Especially in a genre like hip-hop, where sampling and reinterpreting existing styles is so important to the culture.
That's true. It makes you wonder, how much of this pressure to be original is coming from the fans versus, what the industry wants.
Yeah, good point.
Is it about having a totally different image, to stand out?
Right.
Or is it something deeper, proving your skills as an artist?
It's probably a mix of both.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about because the video also mentions how these conversations about her style are tied to how people see her career. It's people are saying that maybe Ice Spice is losing relevance.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
The video brings up things like her allegedly being ignored at Cardi B's party.
Oh, really?
And the idea that she's not as popular with her original fans anymore. There's also this claim that she kind of betrayed some friends and switched camps, which supposedly made her lose support from other celebrities.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and of course we can't forget the rumors about Ice Spice and Offset Cardi B's ex-husband,
Right.
which adds a whole other level of drama to the situation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's important to remember, though, that none of this is official information.
Right.
It's all coming from a source that's pretty much all about gossip. But even if we don't take it super seriously, it still tells us something about how we as a culture connect an artist's personal life and style choices to their success.
Yeah, that's true.
If they're doing well or not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it feels like we're watching a textbook example of how fast public opinion can change, especially now with social media, everything just blows up and gets picked apart.
Yeah, it's true. And I think it shows a bigger problem. how young women, especially in music,
Yeah,
they're held to these ridiculously high standards.
totally.
It's like they have to be creative and stylish and relatable all at the same time, while also dealing with all the crazy stuff that comes with relationships and being in the public eye.
Yeah, and you can't forget about the industry people, like
Right.
the execs who are always pushing the latest trends or looks. It makes it even harder for artists to be themselves, you know?
Totally. It makes you wonder if artists like Ice Spice are really in charge of their own image, or if they're just constantly being molded into what the fans, labels, and the media want them to be.
Right, it's like this constant battle.
Yeah.
We've seen this happen over and over again with women in music, like forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about how Madonna got slammed for her style back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Or how Britney Spears was constantly under a microscope for her personal life in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like there's always this expectation for women in music to be trendsetters and role models.
Yeah.
Like they have to do both, which is almost impossible.
Right. And what's interesting is that what makes a good role model is always changing.
Oh, totally.
It's like people want artists to be relatable and down to earth, but then they get criticized if they're not pushing the envelope and reinventing themselves all the time.
Yeah, so it's like a lose-lose situation.
It kind of is.
And then you add social media to the mix and it just explodes.
Oh, yeah,
Fans can talk directly to artists now more than ever.
for sure.
And they're not shy about sharing their opinions,
No, they're not.
good or bad.
Uh-huh.
So it creates this feedback loop where artists are super aware of how people are seeing their every move,
Right.
which can really affect their creative choices.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if all this scrutiny is actually stopping artists from trying new things.
Yeah.
Like, are they less likely to take risks or experiment with their music and image because they're worried about what people will say online?
That's a good point. It's like a fear of being judged.
Exactly. And it also shows how important it is to be smart about the media we consume and to think critically.
Right.
As fans, we need to be aware of where information's coming from and if it's biased.
We can't just believe everything we see on YouTube or social media. We have to think about the bigger picture and remember that there are usually many different sides to every story.
Yeah, and that brings us back to Ice Spice. This YouTube video gives us one interpretation of all the changes she's made.
Right.
But we have to remember, we're only seeing a tiny part of a much bigger story.
Totally. We don't know what's really going on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
what pressure she's facing or what she wants to achieve as an artist.
And to be fair, she hasn't really said anything publicly about all these rumors.
True, she has every right to stay silent.
Yeah,
It just reminds us that in the end, it's up to each artist to decide how they want to handle fame and public image.
absolutely. And as fans and observers, we have a responsibility to have these conversations in a thoughtful way. To realize that there's often a lot more to the story than what we see on the surface.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
We've talked about the rumors, the fan reactions, and the bigger issue of how women are represented in hip hop. What's the one thing you hope our listener will really think about after this deep dive?
Yeah, there's a lot to think about. And I think this whole Ice Spice thing is a really interesting way to look at how obsessed we are with celebrities and how fame is always changing in this digital world.
Totally. And for me, like the biggest thing that makes you think from all this
Uh-huh.
is this idea of being authentic. Like, what does it even mean for an artist to be authentic, especially in hip hop?
Yeah.
Where sampling and remixing and giving props to your influences is so important.
Right. It's like a total contradiction.
Yeah.
We want artists to be original and come up with new stuff,
Uh-huh.
but we also love it when they can mix things from the past and the present.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if this whole obsession with being original is absolutely holding back artists from growing and experimenting.
It's a good point. And maybe instead of focusing so much on whether someone is a copycat or not,
Uh-huh.
we should be looking at how they're taking what already exists and using it to create something new and exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a much better way to think about it.
Right.
It's about seeing how artistic expression evolves and appreciating how artists get inspired by those who came before them,
Okay.
but also find their own unique style.
Exactly. And I think that's something important to keep in mind as we watch Ice Spice's career. How will she deal with all these expectations and pressures?
Right.
Will she just go with the comparisons or try to be different? Only time will tell. But it'll be interesting to see how her music and her image change.
And I hope we as listeners can be a little more understanding and give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
You know, artists are always changing and trying new things, and their journey is rarely a straight line.
Well said. It's about appreciating the process, understanding the complexities and realizing that there's usually a lot more going on than we see.
So for our listener who's been with us on this deep dive into Ice Spice, what's the one question you want them to think about as they keep learning about her?
Considering all the pressures of fame and how trends are constantly changing in the music industry, how can we really expect artists like Ice Spice to stay true to themselves while also meeting the expectations of fans and other artists?
That's a great question. It really makes us think about what we demand from artists.
Yeah.
And how hard it is to be famous in this digital world.
It's a conversation we need to have, and like always, the best way to understand these things is to stay informed, listen to different points of view, and keep asking those tough questions.
I totally agree. Thanks for taking us on this insightful deep dive.
My pleasure.
And to our listener, thanks for joining us. We hope this got you thinking and maybe even inspired you to do some exploring of your own.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.